5. I walked on, insinuating myself into the heart of the night. I walked into eternity's maze. There was neither entrance nor exit. I drifted along time's veins into uncharted space. I stopped and looked around. I saw light, a small light, waving faintly in the distance. I walked toward it. The light gradually brightened. It was dyed crimson, then blue. When eventually I reached the light, I saw that it was the radiance of the unknown, a large round mass of light, a strange agglomerate of millions of fireflies. Suddenly, the light flew over my head like silver powder. Then it disappeared. A great inky darkness ensued, a dull, gentle black light. I was a tiny particle within it, an essence, a formless self-consciousness hovering on the boundaries of space-time. 6. Light, light, light. I could see light everywhere. The pores of darkness had gradually reopened. It was a commendable return. Innumerable stars were scattered through the night sky. They were the shining flower smiles of the dead. I lifted my head and looked at the star clusters. They poured into my old veins like the Milky Way of childhood. Darkness all around me. The earth on which the star clusters looked down lay in silence, a primordial quiet whose depths could not be measured. An inexplicable sadness filled me. It rode my sensibilities through a long time and took my heart into the distant recesses of memory. 7. I saw the vague outline of something in the dark, a narrow alleyway. A boy was playing in front of the gate of a house. His mother called him. The boy ran to her. An attractive young woman stood smiling in the front yard. Beautiful, unsophisticated, she opened her arms. The washing hung on the clothesline. The boy ran into his mother's arms. She hugged him and kissed his head. She took him into the house. A small serving table was arranged in the middle of the room. A serving cloth with lovely designs lay on top. She lifted the cloth. The food was simple but pleasing to the eye. She placed a piece of boned fish on top of the boy's rice bowl. The boy ate quickly but with relish. She watched him in silence, smiling gracefully. It was a scene to remember, happiness personified, purest joy, the most uniquely beautiful, opulent prospect you could ever hope for. 8. I walked across the gate and house, to yard and clothesline, to mother and son. But the closer I got, the further the scene removed itself from me. When I took a step forward, the scene moved 2 steps away. Then suddenly it was gone, beyond the darkness. I stood there vacantly, looking at a formless shadow. I was gripped by an emptiness that was difficult to bear. I was a lost child, an animal pelt left alone on the earth. I called my mother like boys do. "Mother, mother, mother," I cried. Then I heard the sound of a horse's hoofs. The sound came closer and closer. 9. I got on the horse, grabbed the reins and set off into the dark. Clip, clip, the mystery of the horse's hooves echoed in the night air. The sound reverberated in my heart. It was as if my mother were patting me gently. I felt the peace a child knows in the cradle. A feeling of being totally replete wrapped me around. Joy reigned. I had a sense of warm comfort. The living, breathing horse that I was riding, and the echoes the horse made in the night comforted me body and soul. For the first time, I knew I was not alone. 10. We traveled for a long time in the dark, eventually reaching a river bank. The horse stopped. Crescentman. I listened to the river breathing. Moonlight shone on the water, a dim metallic pigment sharp as the blue glint of a honed blade. The horse stood there, immobile, head bowed, as if troubled, looking down at the riverbed. Time passed. Suddenly, the horse lifted its hooves. Without faltering, it walked on the water as if it were walking on firm ground. Anxiety and fear were forgotten. Calm and wonder filled my heart. The horse and I were one.